So what is up, everybody? This is All Day LBJ here, bringing you another episode of the Black Ops 2 Why This series. So let's get right into it. Now, this episode we're going to be talking about the MP7. Now, overall, this weapon is definitely a very, very good weapon in my opinion. So I'm just going to talk about strategies and kind of stats for the weapon and how you should be using it. So getting right into it, the first thing you're going to want to know, obviously, is the damage and how fast the weapon fires. Just the stuff like that. Now, this weapon shoots at 937 rounds per minute, which is tied for the fastest in the SMG category. Now, it shoots at 803 maximum if you have a trigger finger at 3-round burst with select fire, and does 33 to 18 damage per shot, which means this is a 4 to 6 shot to kill. Now, so that means the shots to kill is obviously pretty low. It's not that high, but the high fire rate makes up for it. Now, it has a 40-round magazine and 54 with extended clip. That is very, very helpful because it has a high rate of fire. It will burn up bullets very, very fast. So the high magazine capacity is definitely very useful. An extended clip will boost your magazine capacity by 35% all the way up to 54. So it gives you an extra 14 bullets to spray if you decide to use extended clip. Now, the reload time on the MP7 is a 1.72 second reload, which is very, very fast, one of the fastest in the SMG category, if not the fastest. Now, if you empty every single bullet in your magazine, that's going to be a 2.4 second reload just because of the extra animation it does when you empty every bullet. Now, I know you can reload cancel the gun, but this is assuming you're not going to be reload canceling. Now, this gun has moderate recoil, but it has very, very good iron sights. Like, the iron sights are amazing, and that kind of makes up for it. Now, the recoil is moderate, as I said. It's fairly easy, but it is fairly easy to control. It has a little bit of side to side sway, but it's mostly vertical recoil, so it is not very hard to control. So, that is another good trait about the MP7. The recoil is good and bad at the same time. If you can control it, then it's very good. Now, if it's a little bit difficult to control, then obviously that makes it a little bit harder. Now, the MP7 aim down sight at 220 milliseconds, which is very fast for, a standard weapon. But considering SMGs in general have a fast ADS, it is relatively slow for a submachine gun. Now, obviously, it is still quite fast, though. And with quick draw, it aimed down sight at 110 milliseconds. Now, you move 100% speed with the MP7. That is obviously full speed. So, the MP7 and all other SMGs, you move at 100% speed, along with all the shotguns. Now, the only weapon that will move faster than 100 is if you have the ballistic knife out, you'll move an extra 2% faster. So, that's the only, it still moves full speed, obviously. So, you don't have any, movement hindering when you use the MP7. So that obviously is very, very helpful. So because of the high movement speed, this is a very good weapon for rushing, kind of getting into the enemy's face, all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the class setup and build that you should use when using the MP7. So let's get right into this. Now, with the MP7, I like to use Fast Mag and Quick Draw, as you see in this gameplay. The Fast Mag and the Quick Draw, they work very well, because the Quick Draw, obviously, to aim down sight very fast, it lets you snap to targets almost immediately. And the Fast Mag, just to have a very quick reload. I know the reload is already quite fast, so it's not completely necessary, but it definitely speeds it up by a lot. Now, you can obviously use other setups depending on what floats your boat. If you don't like Quick Draw, throw on a suppressor. If you don't like Fast Mag, then you might want to use Extended Clip, or, something like that. Now, in terms of perks, I like to use Ghost and Lightweight. Obviously, you could use Hardline if you wish, but I prefer Lightweight because you really do want to be moving fast because it's a submachine gun and you're trying to get into their face, because this is a very close-range gun. Now, as a perk too, I like to use Scavenger just because of resupplying ammo, resupplying your lethal and tactical, that kind of stuff. If you really like toughness, go ahead and use that, but I like Scavenger. Now, as a third perk, Dexterity I think is the way to go, but because when you're in, the enemy's face, you're going to want to pull out your gun quickly, that way you can win more gunfights, and combined with Quick Draw, Dexterity is a very, very deadly combination, so make sure to use that. Now, besides that, you're going to want to use the C4 as your lethal. Now, you can obviously use Frag or Semtex, but C4 is just so overpowered in this game, it really is the way to go. You can just chuck this on top of objectives, Like, you can throw it on top of the B flag and domination while they're capping it, and just, wreak havoc with this. And because you have Scavenger, you have unlimited C4s. Now, as your tactical, you're going to want to run a concussion grenade or a smoke grenade. I prefer the smoke grenade because I play a lot of domination and I like to throw the smoke grenades on the flags. But it's whatever floats your boat, as I said. But in my opinion, smoke grenade is just ideal because you throw it so very fast. It throws a lot faster than a concussion grenade. Plus, the smoke provides great cover and works as a great, distraction. So you're going to want to use the MP7 on objective game modes. Now, what I mean is, like, use the MP7 on domination, on hardpoint, just any other game mode, really, where you can be close quarters and in the enemy's face, and you know where the enemies are going to be gathering. That's what makes this MP7 that's the strength of it. Yet, because of the high fire rate, you can just mow down enemies at close range. Now at long range, that's when the recoil kind of hinders you. You might want to burst fire this weapon at long range, just tap the trigger instead of, just holding it down and using it full auto. It's just not the greatest weapon for long range because of the 6-shot to kill and the moderate recoil. At long range, it just isn't the greatest gun in the world, so I wouldn't use that. But besides long range, at close range, medium range, that kind of stuff, it is an absolute tank. So make sure to use it, then within all those other, times when you can use it close range. So just try to keep yourself in close quarters and you'll do very, very well with the MP7. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.